Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal's space program, where these guys are still pretty close to Kerbin. They are on their way to go somewhere else. They're going to orbit Eve, more specifically, but they have 80 days until they're going to get there. Like, they're not even going to escape Kerbin for another 2 weeks. So we're just going to hop back to the Space Center, and we have another contract to do while we are waiting. So that will be great. And that specific contract, hello, we've kind of already done this. A resource survey scanner, huh? We haven't done that. Science data from surface of the moon. We're going to do that. So we'll grab that for now. But what we're going to do here is position a satellite in a specific orbit of Kerbin. And this does not need to have a materials bay on it. So we're going to pop into the VAB here, and we're going to use the Raven 0S. However, we are going to take the mystery goo and place it here, and the thermometer and place it here, detach this section, get rid of the Science Junior, the materials bay. I think we'll upgrade this while we're working on this to 3x2 photovoltaic panels. And we'll just have 2 of them. Something like that. Excellent. What is the power flow of a 3x2? 1.6 per second compared to... We were running these guys, 4 of them, 0.3 per second. So this is going to still be more electric charge than we had previously. So that's perfect. And what other parts do we need on this? We need a mystery goo unit, which we have, and I'll place it a little bit more centrally. There we go, and we don't need 2 of them. Just 1. Actually, I'll place it over here. There we go. And we'll place the thermometer over here. We need an accelerometer, which we have, and we'll place that just right there. Mystery goo, accelerometer, yeah, that seems good to go. Yep, I think we're good. This is a probodiene hex. Let's see here. Reaction wheel is 0.3 versus 0.5 in the hex. And remote pilot assist is available, blah, 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 blah. I'm just wondering if this has the ability to point at maneuver nodes. No, the probodiene octo is cheaper than the hex. Okay. So, we will go ahead and save this, and we're going to launch this bad boy. Although, I'm looking at this. Has it always been this problematic? The placement of the fins? That's better. Let's double check our mass versus aerodynamic. Okay, that seems fine. When these detach, our center of mass will move up. Yeah. I think we're okay. So let's go ahead and launch this. This is going to be an equatorial launch. We're going to have plenty of delta V to do any inclination changes that we need once we get into orbit. Double checking staging before we go. That all looks good. And off we go. How are we doing on our maneuver, or rather on our apoapsis? I think I'm going to wait until 5 kilometers to start doing the gravity turn. Aerodynamic forces have been kind of kicking my butt lately, so I'm just going to be a little bit more cautious. We'll get started here on it. I'm just going to very carefully pitch over. We're going to be passing through max Q right about now, so I'm going to hold off. Okay, gonna start pitching a little bit again. Definitely getting fought by the aerodynamic forces right now. Just aiming for 45 degrees. That's the idea. There we go, that's a little bit better. Off go the side boosters. Our apoapsis is plenty high. So we will now burn at the horizon until we are 2 minutes from apoapsis. Standard ascent profile for me. Still getting some pretty major aerodynamic forces fighting us until we get the momentum shifted over, of course. And we'll deploy this as soon as we hit 50 kilometers. So right about now. Off goes the fairing. Give us a little bit more thrust to weight. Just trying to keep it pointed right at the horizon. I'm not going to extend solar panels until we exit the atmosphere, which I should probably do this maneuver node right now. Okay, that was a little much. Something along the lines of this will do the trick. Perfect. This is a pure prograde burn for 31 seconds. So we need to do this at T-minus 15.5 seconds. Technically, we don't really want to be heading to prograde right now. Just gonna physics warp as we're turning a little bit. Okay. So this is now a 25-second burn now that we're out of the atmosphere. So 12.5 seconds is when we want to do this burn. Going to continue warping forward a little bit. There we go. And let's burn. We can now extend our solar panels. There we go. And we will be entering orbit momentarily. There we go. Good enough. So, what is our target orbit looking like? That is huge. 9 degrees. Okay, we're going to be best off to change our ascending and descending node in a bigger orbit, if I recall correctly. So we're going to want to encapsulate this orbit and then do that. So this is going to be like probably 5 burns. Relatively lengthy. So we'll just want to push out our apoapsis over to something like this will do. Yeah, that's plenty. Excellent. And we'll go ahead and warp to here. Let's just double check our power. Power looks good. And then we'll start turning our way to prograde, which was why I didn't go all the way to the maneuver node. Just want to double check. Yeah, that looks good. Fantastic. We'll physics warp as we're turning. This is a 27-second burn, so we want to burn for 13.5 seconds. Okay. We'll just hold prograde as we warp towards it. So T-minus 13.5. Right now. And off we go. This is going to burn off most of our center core fuel, but not quite all of it. We'll use the rest of it as we circularize. Just going to hold here. That'll do. At this apoapsis, which is 2 days away, we are going to push out our periapsis. Something a little closer to the apoapsis would be good. Push out our periapsis to be something like this. That'll be fine. And then we will change our inclination at that point. So we will need to warp to next maneuver. And technically, the circularization is not going to utilize our entire center core, which I find fascinating. This is a 7-second burn, so at T minus 3.5 seconds, physics warping the turn. Where is Kerbal? There's Kerbal. Hi, Kerbal. You're a long ways away. Okay, and cutting the engines now. It's getting a little closer. There we go. Okay, so now we need to get our ascending and descending node. Don't want to do that. There's so much right where I need to be. Okay, that's exciting. Okay, that's our apoapsis, periapsis there. There we go. That's what I was looking to do. And get that relined up. Other way. That gets us on the correct inclination. Perfect. Technically, this still isn't going to use all of our center core. This is going to be 7 days away, so the Griffin 3L is going to be close to leaving Kerbal's influence by then. But we'll go ahead and warp to next maneuver. Yeah, it hasn't quite left yet. But that's okay. We'll head over to prograde. Technically, we don't want to head to prograde. What am I doing? This is not a prograde burn. There we go. Okay. So, just using this node mostly for timing at this point. Let's just get ourselves a very slight burn here. There we go. That'll do. That's close enough on the inclination front. Now, we need to get our proper apoapsis and periapsis set up, and that is looking real promising. That node is very, very close. That's going to be a retrograde burn, pure. So let's physics warp over towards retrograde. And yeah, we're not far off. That's great. I really like that. That timing worked out fantastically. We will go ahead and warp to that. This is a very, very tiny burn. So I'm just using this for timing. And mostly, I'm going to eyeball it. So I'm going to burn this at like 2 seconds or so. There we go. That'll do. Now at this apoapsis, which is 5 days away, we're just going to need to bring this periapsis down. That's close enough. The contract would count that. So I just want to adjust it very slightly. Perfect. Okay, we'll warp to that maneuver. That is 6 days away. These guys will definitely be out of the Kerbal system by the time this is done, I think. And they're not moving very quick right now. Yep, there they go. They just exited the Kerbal system. So we're going to need to hop over there as soon as we're done with this burn. Let's just physics warp over to retrograde. And once again, this is a very, very small burn. So we are going to burn at about the same time. That said, we are going to lose this stage during this burn, which makes things a little awkward. Close enough. We just need to hold position now, and the contract will complete in a few seconds. There we go. Fantastic. Now, I do want to switch to the Griffin 3L because we have some science to do here. We are in space high over the sun. So we can grab ourselves a crew report, a temperature scan, an atmospheric pressure scan, a mystery goo observation, a materials study, and we can store all of that up in here. Excellent. Now we're going to need to have Bob EVA, grab an EVA report, let go, and trying not to bump this too much, we'll restore the Science Junior and the Mystery Goo, if we can get in range. There we go. And then Bob will just hop right back in. There we go. Now we can grab another Mystery Goo observation and materials study. This is already stored in the experiment storage unit, but that's okay. We can grab these, and Bob can EVA again. And this time, he's going to collect the data. Collect data, and restore. Then he's going to float over here, collect data, and restore. And now he's going to store it in the pod. There we go. Excellent. So we can't get another one if we want to continue using the Mystery Goo observation and the materials study, which we definitely do. This science isn't really worth it. I'm going to bump this up to a minimum of 3 science, just so that goes away. Excellent. Now, we are currently 65 days away from this maneuver, so we've still got time. We did perform our first spacewalk in orbit of the sun, so that's great. Let's hop on back to the Space Center for right now and see if we've got a contract we can do. Because we still have a lot of time before that maneuver. I kind of don't want to do any of these. Okay. Well, we'll just warp forward to that maneuver then. And once we reach that maneuver, then we can perform it and evaluate other contracts at that time. We don't currently have any that I actually want to do. So we'll just warp to this maneuver. Excellent. This is about a 60-day time warp, of course. So we should have extra contracts, like all new contracts, once we get here. We'll go ahead and rotate over to the node. Something like this. Excellent. This is a 35-second burn, so we want to burn this at T-minus 17.5 seconds. And we're going to want to do this relatively precisely. Just warping forward another couple of seconds, and I overwarped. Even though I was pressing the button to stop the warp like 3 seconds early. It's okay. At this point, it's basically identical. These orbits are so big. Okay. I'm going to ditch this and 0.0 degrees. That is perfectly fine. Excellent. So now we need to find a position where we can get ourselves a decent intercept here. That is not a great position for it. And okay. We're not in a fantastic spot. Good thing this game doesn't have life support simulation. That's kind of awkward. Oh wait, is that an encounter? I'm confused. What are we encountering here? Is that Gilly? No. Oh, there's a Kerbal encounter there. That's kind of hilarious, actually. Okay. Well, we may have to wait quite a long time to do this efficiently. Which is something that I'd very much like to do, because I'm a little concerned about our DV. I mean, we could do something like this and just really burn hard. And actually, not do that. But something like this and really burn hard. And we would be able to get an encounter right over here. This is not DV efficient. We can do this in half the amount of DV if we wait in orbit. Which of course means that they're going to be here for a year. Like I said, it's a good thing that the life support isn't an issue. So, we want our encounter to be something like this. 828 meters per second, so we're barely dipping into this. I like it. This gives us a quasi-reasonable encounter. Where's our node at? Here's our node. Okay, so I would want to definitely bring this in a little bit. This is saving us DV and getting us a better encounter. Now, I don't necessarily want to just do a flyby. Like, this would be fine, and then we can do something with Gilly on the way out. This is still in space high. I don't know what the low status of Eve is. Atmosphere height is 90 kilometers. Okay. That's good to know. Well, what's the in-space low over Eve? I guess we'll find out. Well, I know it's not 3 million. If 90 is the atmospheric height, we definitely don't want to touch Eve's atmosphere in the slightest. So maybe we go to like 120? Like that? Now this is going to have to be a very precise burn. But that's also a year and 114 days in the future. Ooh, that inclination. Can we adjust this? Yeah, we absolutely can. Something more along the lines of this would be good. Ooh. The scroll wheel always has this jump in it if you go too quickly with it, and I don't like that. Okay, something more along the lines of that. We'd have to adjust our inclination probably to get a Gilly encounter, but it'll be something like this. We can get in space high on the way in space low, and then over here we go for a Gilly encounter, get in space high and low, and then slingshot out with what Gravity Gilly has, and head on back to Kerbal, would be the idea. We've still got 4,000 DV, which I think is enough to make this happen. So that's the overall plan for this mission. This inclination is still not quite where I want it to be. Like, realistically, I'd like to match Gilly's inclination here to some degree if we can. Which would be something kind of... this is Gilly's inclination here. kind of like this-ish. I mean, it's kind of nowhere near. I think we'll call this good enough. Eve does have pretty high gravity, so inclination changes are going to be interesting. We're going to have to try to see just how much DV we have. Anyway, for now, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to check on our contracts and see if we can wait for this maneuver. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.